Hey, everybody, and welcome into Rounding the Bases Live episode 2. Had a lot of people tune in and watch this yesterday. And yesterday it was streaming on Facebook, and we were waiting for YouTube to approve, about a 24-hour approval, and they have. So we are live today on Facebook and YouTube, and then we'll take the link of the actual interview, the actual show, and we'll post it on all the other spots. So that if people can't watch it live, they have access to it. Again, my name is Joel Goldberg. You see that at the bottom. And the reminder that Monday through Friday, I'm going to be interviewing different entrepreneurs, different leaders, telling their stories right now of whether it's adversity or overcoming that or helping others, and just trying to really lend a hand here with what is going on. I have to say that my guest for episode 2, who I'm going to pop up because I have the control to do that here. It's the beauty of the home setup. My guest right now, if you know what I hear all the time, people say to me, "You are so busy." Maybe not as much right now, but I actually am still busy. And they say, "You are so busy. I see you all over the place on social media." And I said, "Well, I don't know that I'm busier than anyone else. You just hear about it more." And the person you hear about it from is my guest. Like the way I just pumped that right in there, Danielle.
That was great.
There she is. So Danielle Welch is my guest, and she has been my marketing manager for, I think what we're talking about, a year and a half now, maybe.
Yes, yeah, because we met. We met when I was still pregnant with Selah, and she's 14 months.
Wow.
So a year and a half at least.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, at least a year and a half. And so much of what I do comes from Danielle. And she, like so many of the people that will be on this show, is a small business owner, which means her life, like all of ours, and by the way, big business owners too, life changed. And she and I have these discussions via text message or email on a very regular basis. So first off, and I don't even know if this show was my idea or your idea. If it was my idea, you figured out how to execute it pretty quickly. So I should have had you on as the first guest, but you're second. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, I'm here. It was your idea. It was just, I think a lot of it came from you tend to do a really great job of finding the need and that people have and identifying it and then wanting to fill it with a solution. And that's what you did with your podcast, Rounding the Bases. And now, people are still listening to podcasts, but they're on their social media all the time. So I talked to you a long time ago about being able to do your podcast through video stream, but this is, you get the points on this one, Joel. So I just helped you execute it.
Well, if you look up in the top corner, actually it's above Danielle's left shoulder, that little Joel Goldberg Media that you're pointing to, that's your creation.
That's it. That's it.
And,
that's right. That's what I get paid for.
that is. And I also wanted to I haven't told you this yet. I've been racing. I just did Matt DeCourcy, our friend at Full Scale. I just did his podcast audio. He wants to keep things back up and ramping up and all of that. So this thing is changing all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to let you know that I believe, and I'll unveil this next week. I believe I have my first sponsor for this show, and so awesome. Entrepreneur here in the area. So with a really good product, amazing product. It's a former guest on the Rounding the Bases podcast. So I will leave it there for now. I don't want to get ahead of things, but we'll go forward with that. I am looking for sponsors. Really, like so many people, no revenue right now, but a very strong belief in, and Danielle, you've helped me understand this, just a strong belief of getting out there, being proactive, helping others, and that stuff will all work. Many of us right now are treading water, and we're just trying to stay afloat until this passes. And changing. I mean, this is you keep telling me over and over again about forgetting about perfection. I'm a perfectionist. I think you are too. And
I'm
messy
a recovering
action.
Perfectionist. I've recovered now. Now it's like people have sober coaches. I'm a perfectionist coach. So I'm going to help you through that. Okay.
You are helping me. Sometimes I feel like you have 3 kids, or if your husband Josh is considered one of those 3, then I'm
yes,
fourth.
He is totally considered.
Yeah, well, that's what we husbands oftentimes are. But help me. I'm still trying to work some things out in terms of internet. So if we duck in and out at any point, we got two kids here in the Goldberg house that could be on 15 different devices at one time. So I think that's probably true for a lot of people working out of the house. I showed you this before we went on. I went to Best Buy this morning, curbside. You don't get close to anyone. It actually, I mean, it's amazing the way the world is changing. I ordered this online. When you get to the park lot, you click on your email and put in what the model make of your car is, and there's designated parking spots. And within 2 minutes, they walk up and they just hand you the thing. So I bought. You can see this, see that, see that. And
I mean, you already were one
I'm moving
of
up in the world.
I mean, you already were one of Kansas City's top social media influencers. You did get an award for that. Now, I mean, you might be the #1 because you got a ring light. I mean, that shows your level of professionalism. I mean, you're serious about this.
$40 well spent. Now I need to get a dongle to run an Ethernet cable to make sure I've got better, whatever. These are all the things that we're dealing with. Let's move on. And I want to talk about your business. I mean, everybody that I'm having on here is either, in all likelihood, an entrepreneur, smaller business owner, or someone that is helping the community right now during the tough times. I know that a previous guest on the Round the Bases podcast, Dr. Allison Edwards, who does direct primary care, and has been really vocal on social media about the help that they need in terms of equipment and masks and all of that. She's also a business owner. And so I'm going to have her on next week, and I think it'll be really enlightening.
Dude, that's awesome.
I want to provide value. Yeah, I want to provide value to people. I also told her last night, I'm like, I don't want to take you away from patients. I mean, that's a little bit more important, but I know she wants to come on. But for you right now, before we talk about where you're at, I mean, the format of the show is really going to be, tell us about your business, how you built it, what it is, and now how you're adjusting now, where things are going forward. Because I believe we can all learn from each other. We can all figure this out. So let's talk about your business first and foremost, and how you started it and what Bridge is.
Okay, so I started Bridge back in the summer of 2018, Bridge Consulting and Design. A little bit of background on me, because I think it's important to give the background before I talk about the business. So I've spent 7 years now in the industry of marketing and advertising. The first 5 years, I worked for 2 different agencies as a marketing consultant and a sales representative. Excuse me. And so I've worked hands-on with all things strategy for small businesses when it came to digital marketing at both of those agencies. For one of the companies that I worked for, I spent basically the first 2 years helping really small local businesses move from just advertising in the phone book. This is just in 2014. So yes, people still do phone book advertising, but helping them move from like just traditional marketing media to digital marketing. And I did a lot of education with small businesses during that time. So teaching them the value, obviously, but why they needed to start heading that direction. So working for those 2 agencies, I really started to fall in love with why small businesses are who they are and what they mean for our country, from not just an economical standpoint, but just the entire small businesses, they're usually very family centered, community centered. And I fell in love with all of that because it took me back to my childhood days. My dad had multiple businesses. He was a serial entrepreneur. Most of them failed. But that never knocked him down. My grandpa had one of the first farmers insurance agencies in Wichita, and he built that business for 55 years before he retired. And what I've always loved about small businesses is just their tenacity, right? And their resilience to make things happen in times of struggle. So when I was working at those agencies, I fell in love with the people, not the job necessarily. And over time, I actually found that I didn't agree with the way that the companies I was working for handled business. I didn't appreciate that there was always a quota that I had to meet as a consultant, and that the customers' needs weren't always being met based on some quota. And I kind of started to see that the more I moved up in the company and the more that I got to get behind closed doors, I started to see that small business owners were actually getting taken advantage of a lot because of their naivety to all things marketing. Because here's the thing, a small business owner is good at running their business. selling their product and doing the day-to-day in their business, they're not, while they have many hats that they can wear, they're not necessarily maybe the best at marketing or knowing how to implement it. So when it came to making marketing decisions, they kind of just trusted the person on the other end of the phone a lot of times. And one of the agencies I worked for was huge. So I just saw it too much. And I saw that there were businesses paying $3,000 a year for a 2-page website that they should not have been paying that much for. I saw them paying for things that they could have maybe been doing in-house. And I just saw that there was like, to me, the way that I'm animated like this, and you know this about me, like I love Marvel and DC movies. Like I felt like I was Wonder Woman and I needed to serve justice to these small businesses and offers. And I just decided I'm going to step away from working for this corporation and I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to go offer these services at a more affordable rate because there were a lot of small businesses not being able to have high quality marketing strategies or anything like that because of a budgetary issue. And I was like, well, whatever. So thankfully my husband trusted me enough to say like, yes, you can go start this thing, and started my business in 2018 doing website design. And that quickly turned into doing more social media marketing. And that was right around the time that you and I met. I think it was September or October of 2018. And it became a big deal to help people manage their social media because a lot of it, they just didn't know what they needed to do. So now things have transitioned. I still work with people one-on-one, but I found myself where I'm kind of tapped out on a one-on-one basis. I've got a good basket of clients that I love to do work with on a one-on-one basis, but I still want to reach more business owners and I still want to educate more people. So I created an online course that basically takes everything that I know about social media management, and I've compiled it in a 6-week course, plus they get group coaching. And now I'm in a place where I can be duplicated through video. And now I'm trying to my ultimate goal is like, I'm just trying to reach as many people as I can to give them empowerment and educate them on what they need to be doing and what they don't need to be doing so that they can save money in their business, but also still have a high quality strategy going on. So that's my business in a nutshell.
Yeah. So, I mean, on the short of that, or the follow-up is that while you, and you, I think you do this as well as actually anybody that I've ever met, you, at least in my mind, you have this ability to kind of map out and structure your daily schedule by the moment. I'm not gonna say by the second, but I feel like everything that you do over the course of the day is accounted for. It's mapped out. Many of us are just like, okay, I have to do this, and this today. I've gotten a little bit better from your influence. I mean, it's not like I have my day mapped out. I just know right now that I'm spending a lot of time sitting in front of this. And, so as a podcast this morning, it's this show right now. It'll be my baseball show that you're aware of at 1:00. And then it's a couple of, Zoom meetings. And now I seem to be doing a lot of happy hours and probably coffees like this. And actually, it's been good. It's been normalcy instead of sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
But you can only do so much a day, as you talked about being Wonder Woman. And so you're taking care of the clients that you have, but yet you're able to potentially get to anyone all around the world. This is something I want to do. And you and I have talked about this, about taking some of my speeches and turning them into courses. And this is being entrepreneurial. This is taking what you can, because look, not every company is going to be able to hire me, may not be interested in me, or may not be able to afford me. But yet individuals can go out and learn more about culture or about leadership or about trust or different categories. I need to figure all that out. You have figured out how to do that, how to have it be a stream of revenue for you and your family, and be able to reach more people that may not be able to afford bridge consulting, or in turn that you may not have the time to dedicate to. I'm sure you'd love to help everybody, but this enables you to do that. So tell me about the course and how people get that. Because here's the thing, when people say to me about social media, it looks like you're everywhere. I tell people all the time, if I'm being honest, I say if it looks good and it's got great graphics and it looks really pretty, so to speak, it came from Danielle. And if it's just some quick message, it probably came from me. So people want to have that. People understand, I think, that social media and presence is important. They have that ability to learn that just from you.
Yeah, so I think with even with your strategy, the clean, polished strategy for what we're putting out on a regular basis of content is important. But I think one thing from especially in the time that we're in right now, like I've talked to you a little bit about last week, I was like, post a picture of where you're at. You were sending me pictures of, your daughter played baseball for the first time in her life, and it's like you just living the more authentic that business owners can be right now. And I'm taking a lesson here from Erin Folk over at Lillian James. She talked about this in a video she did last week. Like CEOs and small business owners need to be in front of the camera more now than ever before. But there is still a need to have a strategy, and more than anything, it's more than a strategy, I think. The strategy is what gets laid down first. What are you trying to accomplish in your overall marketing plan, and who are you trying to reach? But it's the system and the process that gets put into place that allows for you to save time and energy. And that's what I teach inside of the course. It's a 6-week module. It's technically 7 weeks because we have 1 week that's a break. But module 1 is first and foremost identifying how social media marketing plays into every aspect of your digital marketing plan. So your website, your SEO, any paid ads that you're doing, any email marketing. It's one piece of the overall puzzle. So we spend a lot of time on that. There's a couple of activities in there. Module 2 focuses on branding. So creating your brand if you don't have one, or just understanding why you created the brand that you had, learning who your audience is. I think in the beginning of us working together, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out who your audience is and how to message them specifically, how to reach them with what is going to pull necessarily on their needs, right? So we spend a lot of time in module 2 with that. In module 3, I break down all the social media platforms and which ones do you need to be on and which ones you don't need to be on, because there's some that are just time wasters, and your audience may not be there. Then there's a buffer week, so a week where people can catch up. Week number 4, it's technically 5, module number 4 is where I really get into what my process is and my system. So from planning, creation, scheduling, and engagement, it's my 4-step system of how to basically batch an entire month or even 3 months worth of content. And you can do that in 3 to 6 hours. And that saves people a ton of time and a ton of headache. Module 5 is all about engaging with your audience and growing your following on social media. And module number 6 is understanding the data, how to read analytics, how to utilize that to pivot in your strategy, and continue to plan moving forward. There's bonuses in there. I actually had a friend of mine come in. She's doing an hour-long training on how to create graphics. As a small business owner, like that's the biggest thing I think is visual content. So she's doing an hour-long training on how to use a free tool to do that. There's a lot of different resources, but the whole thing is I try to package 7 years of experience into this little 6 to 7 week course. And I'm also doing group coaching with that. So I'm available throughout the entire time so people can ask me questions so they can implement as needed for their business. So that's what that's all about.
I feel like you're ahead of the curve. It's not like you're the only one, but this world will be changing now to doing more of this type of stuff. And I don't necessarily mean live. By the way, amazing that we're doing this live like this. I mean, this looks like a TV show. And we're using a platform, I think you recommended it to me, called StreamYard.
Yep.
And it's amazing. I mean, I was messing with this yesterday, but I mean, I can do this and I can go back to talking here by myself, but we'd much rather see Danielle than just me. And so, it's amazing that just with the click of a button. And so I keep saying the world is changing. When this is all over, we don't know exactly what it will look like, but I still think we'll have face-to-face. Yeah. I still think that, you'll have clients that you deal with face to face, but I feel like you were ahead of the curve in terms of being able to reach more people. And there are a lot of people right now that are sitting at home saying, oh my gosh, I need to do something. I need to figure out a way to save my business or get the word out. And I don't know how to do it, or I can't afford to do it. And so I think that's where you come in with what you're doing. I want to hit you with a couple of just advice type of things right now before we go, that can help anyone that's watching. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to do here with this show. I've got the time, and I don't need to dig in deep like we do on the weekly Rounding the Bases, which, by the way, is it Wednesday already?
It's Wednesday, Joel. Did you take a shower yet this week? I keep telling everybody it's Wednesday. Have you taken a shower this week? Because people keep forgetting. Guilty.
Yeah, it's a little scary. I threw my head under the shower just so that, like, but I need a haircut. I'm an every 3 week guy, and we're over 4 weeks now, so this is
Oh
gonna get interesting.
no! Don't cut your
Yeah,
bangs. Don't cut your bangs.
don't get it right. The good news is I haven't dyed this ever, so I'm all right there. No, but people are wondering kind of how to go about this right now, and
Yeah.
I think the best piece of advice that I've received from people like you, certainly from Aaron Falk, is just go help people.
Yep.
And we are always so focused on making money. I don't want to say too focused on making money, because look, we all need that to put food on the table and pay the mortgage and the rent, whatever. But right now, it's a bit of survival mode for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I know I found myself right away saying, okay, what can I do to make money? What can I do? And no one's going to hand it to you.
Mm-mm.
So just start doing good and see where it leads you.
Yep.
My question to you is, I think that also could describe effective social media.
Yeah.
It's easy to go out there and say, look at me, or look at what I'm doing, or check this out. How do you look at social media in terms of strategy, in terms of building brand and helping others? And I know that is a long process. You have helped me build a brand over the last year and a half in the social media space. A lot of people need some things done quickly right now. What I'm asking is, what's your advice? Forget about all the graphics and looking good. I mean, like you said, messy action. What's the advice right now in just keeping yourself relevant?
The biggest thing is just showing up every single day. Just not being, the thing is like, I think the research that I saw showed that an increase in social media use went up like 5 times in just the last week. That's huge. So people are spending a lot more time on social media. So being present every single day. Here's a quick tip. Go to your Facebook or your Instagram, go to the insights or the data, find the audience data tab, and find out when your specific audience is on social media more often than not. Okay. So what day and what time of day? That's when you need to be relevant. Like, that's when you need to be posting, because you're going to reach more people in that specific time frame. That's a very specific tip that I think is important. And just literally showing up every single day in some capacity. The messaging needs to resonate with people. It's okay to talk about what's going on. Just make sure that you're not going down the path of, I've got, this issue going on. Keep it light, keep it positive, keep it proactive, solution minded. So maybe your business is a local laundry service, like one of my clients. She's booming with business right now because people are not going to the laundromats to do their laundry. So our messaging is shifted to basically, what is her crisis message? Everyone should have it established by now. And I talk to all my clients about this. We need to get a message out on social media and through your email strategy or your email campaign. What is your response to what's going on? And how are you keeping your business available to serve your clients' needs? Because we have to be more customer centric right now. We have to meet our customers where they're at, which is at home or in their car, right? So the biggest strategy is show up every single day with how you can serve your customer base through social media, and at a specific time of day. So you're not doing it at 10 o'clock at night. Maybe your audience is more active at 11 o'clock in the morning. Yours is like 9 to 10 in the morning. Monday, Tuesday is a prime time for you on LinkedIn. That's where I've got a lot of your podcast stuff scheduled to go at that time. So I could even send a little, like, if anyone wants, they could email me. I've got a little video I can send you of how to go find that information on your own personal profile page. So that would be something super, super helpful for people.
What's the email they can get you at?
Danielle at bridgecd.com. They can email me there, and then I'll send them that video, and it's going to be for Facebook and Instagram, and I'll show you where to find when your audience engages with you the most. Because it's different. Yours is different, completely different than mine. Tuesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. is my prime time.
By the way, look at what I just did there. Look at what I just did there.
I'm so proud of you. Look at your technological skills, man.
They make it very easy, right?
Yep. Yeah. So that's my biggest thing, is just show up every day. Literally, just make sure you're relevant. Don't be afraid to sell during this time, but don't leverage the virus. That is bad. bad business.
Yeah.
But don't shy away from selling your services or your product if you still have the ability to. You have two choices in how you respond to this. Like, you can choose that everybody is maybe shrinking back on their spending, or you can choose to just continue to move the business forward and have more of a positive response. Because at the end of the day, people don't want the economy to crash, and they don't want things to go downhill further than they have in the economy. So guess how we remedy that? We continue to spend money in our local economies. That's how you keep the economy going, right? So supporting small business in that too.
And I think just getting out there and look, not everybody's comfortable being in front of a camera. So you are. I would certainly would hope that I am, but that's not for everyone. But I think that the more people can get a peek at someone or behind the scene, people love a peek behind the curtain. People want to know that it's real. People want, and we all have empathy. And I think maybe more, I hope more so now than ever, because in a strange way, everyone in some form or another is struggling. And I know that there's some businesses that may be a little bulletproof with this, the Walmarts, the Amazons, but they're all having to adjust and figure things out too. And so this has truly affected everyone. I mean, my 2 cents is I wish that we would stop politicizing this on all sides, and I wish that we would just take care of each other. I know the world's not that simple. And I probably was the worst science student ever, but I am a believer in science. And when the doctors say that this is serious, then I take it seriously. And that's why we're sitting here right now. And that's so, but I think there's opportunity. And I agree with you. Not in a way of taking advantage. I think you take advantage by saying, I'm not going to sit back. That I'm going to go out there and create. And, everybody keeps saying, Danielle, that yesterday feels like 2-3 days ago, 3 days ago feels like a week ago. And that's true because of the numbers and what's going on in this country and around the world. At the same time, I feel like ideas that I had 3 days ago have either been executed or are long gone. And just keep trying to, as you say, messy action. Just keep throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks and see what works and see what resonates, right?
Do you remember that quote I shared with you by Robert Kiyosaki from The Business of the 21st Century? I'm going to read it.
Share it. I don't remember word for word, but thank you. Yes.
So he wrote this book in reference to the financial crisis we went through in 2008. And this book was written, like I said, in response to that. But this is at the beginning of chapter 2. He was getting interviewed by Robert Kiyosaki wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's an incredible businessman, primarily in the real estate industry, but he was getting interviewed by a lot of different news agencies and things like that, asking like, is now the right time for people to venture into business, or to is there new opportunities? And his response was this, and I love this, and I think this is so key for small businesses right now. He said, this is the best time to create opportunities. When times are bad is when the real entrepreneurs emerge. Entrepreneurs don't really care if the market's up or down. They're creating better products and better processes. So when somebody says, oh, there's less opportunity now, it's because they're losers. That's how Robert Kiyosaki talks, and I love that. What do Microsoft and Disney empires have in common? They were both launched in the middle of a recession. In fact, more than half the corporations that make up the Dow Jones got their start in a recession. Why? Simple. In times of economic uncertainty, people will get creative. They break out of their comfort zones and take initiative to help make ends meet. It's a matter of good old-fashioned American entrepreneurialism at its best. And when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And I feel like that is so relevant right now, because our way of life has changed. The way that business is done has changed. Small businesses are figuring out new ways to bring in revenue, which means when we all bounce out of this, they're going to have a new way of bringing in income, and their old way as well. Processes are being perfected. They're trimming the fat. They're figuring out actually what was not necessary in my business from an overhead perspective, as well as they're figuring out the things that they need to invest into more. It's just like, this can be a really, really good time for small businesses if they choose that response, right? That's my take on it.
All right. Well, those are good words to end with. I know when you sent me that last week, it gave me a lot of hope. It gave me a new perspective. I don't think I would have sat back ultimately anyway, but I had like a lot of people. No, I know you wouldn't have, and it's not my nature either. But you could see it in my text messages. I probably had 2 or 3 pity parties for myself, as they with me generally won't last more than 30 minutes to an hour. I just need to get it out of my system, and then, okay, enough feeling sorry for myself. But everybody's going through that right now, and I understand it. And I think we all need to find a way to be positive and look at this as an opportunity. And I think that you summed it up really well there with that quote, which you had emailed me last week. So again, what I will pop up there is if anybody wants to get a hold of Danielle, she's so knowledgeable and also so willing, excuse me, to offer and help others with just some guidance. And I never knew that there were certain times that you shouldn't post on social media. And so, if you have questions about that, I know she's told me Twitter can't do it enough in terms of posting and promoting and all that. And then you need to pick certain spots for LinkedIn and Instagram and story and, what story, what goes in the feed and all that. So among the many other things that she does, she has that not as a guest, but as having studied the analytics, which, by the way, those algorithms and everything, they change all the time. I've learned that from you. And so you keep up on that so I don't have to, among many other things. So you can reach Danielle, as you see, at Danielle@bridgecd.com. You can go to the website, bridgecd.com. She's a great resource. Right now, there's so many people out there that are using their expertise in the short term just to help people stay afloat. And obviously, I would recommend to anyone buying her services. But in the meantime, I know that your heart is in the right place, always is, but I think more so than ever right now, you're making an impact, have an ability to make an impact on people's lives that may not know you and are, going to bed every single night if they're sleeping, extremely worried, extremely scared. And I know that having people like you and so many others in this community around as resources will help others. So thank you. I don't need to tell you anything more good about yourself because you've already heard it from me many, many times, but that's how I feel. So
thanks. Now this, that made me feel awkward. That was nice. I have a hard time receiving compliment, but I do want to say, I forgot to mention this just really quick. I am wanting to do as many consultation calls as possible during this time, and I'm not charging for that. So if anyone wants to email me or just get advice on what they think they should be doing, shoot me an email and we'll find a time that works for both of us. I just want to be available to people. So there's no catch in there. There's not at the end of the call, I'm going to bill you for the time. That's not how this works. I want to just give access to what I know to as many people as possible, even if it's just to reaffirm a decision they've already made. So just reach out. That's all I ask.
All right. Good stuff. Watch this. I'm going to pop this down there now. I'm going to pop this off there now. We'll go back over to this. That's a different angle. Yep. Okay. Hang on, by the way. I want to talk to you afterwards real quick, but I'm going to wrap up the show. So a big thanks to Danielle Welch, Bridge Consulting, for her expertise. I know that she'll tell me that I should put this up here right now. And so if you want to get a hold of me, you could do so at joelgoldbergmedia.com. I need to create another banner. If you want to email me, it's Joel, but you'll see pretty much right there. Joel@joelgoldbergmedia.com. I'm looking for guests Monday through Friday on the show. The suggestions are already filling up. So we'll try to get back to everyone. And if it means, hey, I'm interested down the road, or if it's a no, or whatever it is, they're starting to fill up, which is good. I don't think there's going to be a shortage. I just want to tell people stories, try to help out, whether it be telling their stories with some publicity or having experts like Danielle that can help you out and potentially offer some hope, some suggestions. We'll be here every single day, I think around noon, right here. So Facebook Live, YouTube Live. At some point, LinkedIn may decide to add me for live broadcast. I'm in the holding pattern right there, but we'll get around that, and Danielle will post that link either way. So thanks for joining me on episode 2 of Rounding the Bases Live. We'll have a new guest tomorrow. It's the president of a recruiting firm here in Kansas City who, like so many people, went from having a pipeline full of clients and business to suddenly having to start from square one because nobody's hiring right now. And he's trying to deal with some stuff too. So I look forward to that tomorrow. Please feel free to reach out to me on all the social media sites and all of that. And thanks for watching Rounding the Bases Live.